So, with Rabbit Hole so close to completion, I thought I would make a video talking about it, or the general idea of it, or the general inspirations and things like that. I've done this with like my other books before. I think I've done it for like Cruel and Beautiful and Eye of the Dragon. I've been doing blog posts about this. I've talked about Rabbit Hole a little bit on the blog. I don't know, doing a video is a little bit different because it comes off like more natural. It doesn't feel like I'm trying to sell anyone a product. I'm just talking about something I'm working on right now. So Rabbit Hole right now is about halfway through completion, and it should be done by the end of August. I am making great progress on it right now, and I'm mostly just taking a break from it. Honestly, I haven't been playing Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise, all that much because I've been focusing on this weekend. But the book is coming along, and I'm very excited for it. So I thought I would take a little bit to talk about its inspirations, and it's the thing that I wanted to sort of talk about in the public sphere. Something that hilariously has been in the news a lot over the past couple of days. So maybe I could actually coast off that a little bit. But yeah, Rabbit Hole was heavily influenced by the fact that Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. Now, if you're not aware of what that means, go ahead and look it up. Basically, a super elite, a super pedophile who was essentially in charge of like child trafficking in the U.S. or like heavily involved with sexual child trafficking in the U.S. was essentially arrested and being forced by the authorities to give up information as to who his sponsors and his customers were. And he was about to cooperate. He was doing all of this stuff. He was in prison. He was about to like name names essentially, and then he mysteriously decided to kill himself. And mysteriously, there was no footage. There were no guards to stop it. There was nothing going on. It just sort of mysteriously happened. And it was kind of a funny instance of this because we were literally, people in the sphere who were watching this stuff, we were literally speculating that like, they're going to try to kill him. And they're gonna try to make it look like a suicide, and this kind of goes back into what I've always said about government corruption. I'm not sure if I've said this before. The government is completely incompetent, in spite of being incredibly corrupt. So they seriously went out, tried to have this guy killed, and seriously tried to pretend it was a suicide, and literally no one involved in the situation believes it. Like, if you like, the only reason they're getting away with it right now is that they're sort of they just kept killing everyone who was bringing it up and like trying to memory hole it and doing all of this shit. And now it's coming back in the news because a close associate of his is getting back into the fray, which is kind of funny because this is basically what Rabbit Hole was about. That was what Rabbit Hole, the idea of Rabbit Hole, like exposing this kind of behavior to the public. Like an ordinary person, in this case the protagonist, Will Way, essentially going out and taking huge risks, taking these huge personal risks, like sacrificing himself, his ambitions, or his what he's doing, his opportunities, in order to pursue this goal of taking down this circle of super pedophiles, billionaires, politicians, celebrities. They're fucking everywhere. You see them all the time on TV. It's ridiculous. And Rabbit Hole is essentially about like exposing and dealing with these people in a fun, entertaining way. It is very much within the realms of possibility for the public to sort of rise up and deal with this stuff. And I think Rabbit Hole is going to be an interesting example of how that could theoretically happen. Of course, it is a fiction book. It's all very stylized. It's very much in the style of like Eye of the Dragon. in the sense where it has a big focus on like fighting, but it's focused in reality this time rather than like the over the top fantasy anime style fights that Eye of the Dragon had. It's very newsy. It's very focused on like online media and like fake news and the propaganda and the corruption in our government and stuff like that. It's very focused on that, and it's a very slowly paced novel too. It's interesting. It just starts off slowly and then just starts ramping up as it goes along. I'm really interested in seeing just how people respond to this when it does get published, because I think it's going to definitely, for sure. By the way, I have no intention of killing myself. This book is just. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's really interesting, unique, a really interesting, fun take on what's happening and how we could theoretically deal with it. I am just very hyped for it. I'm very interested in seeing how it's received by the public and how people and how interested people. I'm interested in seeing how it does, basically. I'm very excited for it, and I hope you continue to support me going forward with Rabbit Hole, with other future projects too. I have a bunch of stuff. I've started writing for magazines, and I have all these plans for short stories. It's all going to be great. So I thank all of you for sticking with me this long and supporting me and helping me make my dreams come true. I really deeply appreciate that. Thank you.